Hi, hello, my name is Corinna. Welcome to the Corinna Marie Handmade YouTube channel. This is my spot on the internet to share with you all the things crafty going on in my life. We'll talk about knitting, crochet, fibers, spinning and weaving, as well as sewing and quilting. Welcome to episode 2. I'm so glad you are here. I hope you got a chance to watch episode 1. If you haven't watched that yet, I will link it above. But welcome back to the Corinna Marie Handmade YouTube channel. So much fun recording last week, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all the projects I've been working on this week. So let's start with what I am wearing. This sweater was a hodgepodge of a few different patterns. I knit this after the Paloma sweater I wore last week, that green one by Espace Tricot. So it's a similar twisted rib neck with the raglan increases. This one I did a little puffy sleeve and then decreased so it would be a little bit tighter. This I knit out of Lana Grossa Peru Tweed in these 3 colors. This yarn does not have a lot of stretch, so the tightness of the collar and the sleeves aren't really there, which is okay. I just have a little unevenness with these 2 sleeves. On the needles they looked the same and the rows were the same, but this one I must have knit a little bit tighter than this one, so that's okay. It's the joy of handmade knits, but it's super cozy. The yarn is 20% polyamide, 32% viscose, 8% merino, and 40% alpaca. So an interesting blend there with the merino and alpaca, and then of course the plastic man-made fibers. But really love this sweater. Next I can share with you my one finished object. I had shown this last week as a whip, and I knit these socks in 8 days, which is super fast. So again, this week I don't have my sock blockers. I didn't even try to look for them. I don't know where they are or where they could be, which, you know, the struggle of living in a small space with a lot of crafts. Not everything I own has a place, so it kind of just gets scattered all over. But this is the I'm So Basic sock, a pattern by Summer Lee Designs. It is knit out of Barnyard Knits yarn. I don't remember the colorways. They were scraps from my Find Your Fade shawl, so a scrappy project. I still have a ton of yarn left, and some of my fade colors are in here along with my minis, and then I store my Knit Pick Stroll in this little cabinet. So I've knit a few sweaters out of Stroll, and I love their tweed base, so that's where I store those. But yes, these socks are simple vanilla sock. I enjoyed them, knitting with them a ton. They, you know, came out beautifully. I knit on, I think I showed you last week, the 9-inch Chow Goose, the red lace. I don't have them with me because I finished this, but I knit these so fast I poked a hole in my finger. I don't know if my hands were just super dry or what it was, but I still have a little callus where it's trying to heal, but from pushing the metal, they're pretty sharp. I got a hole in my finger, so taped that up with a band-aid so I could finish knitting these socks. And once they were done, decided to give myself a break for a few days on socks, and that can bring us into my whips. So I know last week I showed you my whip bin, which is where I keep all the things I'm working on. I also have in here my other two favorite needle sets, which I can just show you. So the Chiagu red lace, the twist shorties, I think that's what they're called. I'll link them below, the Amazon link, if you're interested in seeing them. But the next set that I love are my Leica needles, the driftwood interchangeable set. I have some that are being used right now, but this is my favorite set by far. I love bamboo, I love driftwood, or just wood in general needles, so this was definitely an investment, but I use them all the time, swap them from project to project if there is a size that I'm using already. So I love these. And then off Amazon, I think a few years ago, I had picked up this set, which the name is escaping me and it doesn't have any branding on it, but it is also a wood bamboo interchangeable set. This is a smaller size. This goes from 3mm to 4mm. So just another good range to have, a little bit smaller than the Leica set. And then since I do have two interchangeable sets and a ton of cords, and they work in both, I keep my cords in a separate pouch, which this is actually made by moi. I made this a few months ago when I was trying to kind of find what patterns I like the most for the zipper pouches, but in here I just store all of my cords. They're just thrown in there. But it's a good way to organize, and then I keep that in my whip bin, so if I'm starting a new project I can just grab that. In here we have my Knit Collage Pixelated Cardi, which I spoke about last week. I haven't made any progress on that, haven't picked it up, which is fine. If you want to hear more about the yarns that I used, you can definitely check out last week's episode, and then as I make progress, I will spotlight that project in a coming episode. And then those two sock projects that I shared with you, I shared the yarn that was wound with you last week. Haven't started those yet. Current whip that I started this week instead of those two socks and the Pixelated Cardi has been a sweater, another sweater by Espace Tricot. It's called the Bright Side. Right now I'm on 16-inch circular, so it's hard to see, but I'm working the raglan, the neck. I did the short rows already, and I'm just building out the top. And this is a fingering weight project. I'll show you the yarn knit up. I'm knitting this on a 4.5, which I normally find that my gauge is a little bit looser, so I normally drop down a needle size, but for this I didn't, and I didn't check gauge, so oops. But I think I'll be fine. The way it knits up, I hold it up to the light, I can see some light through it, but when I put it over my hand, my skin kind of provides the barrier that, you know, I'm comfortable with. And this yarn is Purl Soho. It is their linen quill, which is a 50% Highland wool, 35% alpaca, 15% linen. And I know last week my ring light was a little too bright. It kind of, you know, lit up a lot of the tags in the yarn that I was showing you, so it was hard to see. So I'm losing daylight, so I'll keep changing it and then we'll see from there. But this camera is pretty good in terms of picking up extra light. So you can see the yardage there. I have 4 skeins of this. I only wound up one into a cake, and then the other 2 are still in hank form. I was watching a TV show when I was winding, and I think I mentioned last week, I have a Boy electric like skein winder. It's really weird, and I need to get a new one. It creates cakes that are like super tall, they don't stay, you know, uniform, and it just becomes a mess. So if you ever see my cakes looking a little helpless, that's why, you know, that's how you know or now you know why they look like that. So I'm looking into the Fiber Artist Supply Co. hand crank one that you just hook up to the Swift. I have a Swift, but if you guys have any ball winders that you love, definitely leave them, you know, link them below, or just comment and tell me what they are so I can do some research. And then I was thinking I can get the Knit Picks. They have like a cheap $15 plastic one, but not sure if that'll be the same result as the one I have. Although it is electric and it spins automatically, it doesn't have enough force to continue to wind the Swift around and then pull the yarn off of it. So it's kind of a nightmare, but it gets the job done for what I need, and that is to take it from hank to cake, if you could call it a cake. So that is my current whip, and then that's all I've been working on this week after I finished these socks. So I started these on a Saturday and then finished them the following Sunday. So like I said, 8 days, a great project to work on, you know, watching TV, and that's been great. Next up, I can share with you stash acquisitions, which I didn't have any last week because it was my first episode. Didn't really know what to show you. Technically, my whole stash is behind me, but this collection of things I have purchased and received in the second half of January, so I wanted to share them with you so that I can start knitting them. First up, we can talk about the Long Dog yarn, which was new to me. Someone had posted it, and she does clubs. I think this theme, it was a book club every month where she would pair a skein of yarn and a bundle of tea. And I love tea. I am drinking tea, which we could talk about as soon as I finish showing you the yarn. But Long Dog yarn, if you didn't receive your January, you didn't sign up for it, I guess look away, but it's a few days after, and she posted the spoilers on her page, so I think I'm safe. But the theme was Wuthering Heights. I think it's a book series. I have no idea. I didn't purchase it because of the book. I purchased it because of the colors that she, you know, kind of showed that the skein would be based off of. And then she mentioned that the tea was an Earl Grey blend, and Earl Grey is my favorite blend of tea. I've probably tried like 40 blends at this point. Every time I visit somewhere and they have a cute little tea shop, I'll grab in, you know, run in and grab their version of an Earl Grey. But to date, my favorite blend is from David's Tea, which is a Canadian tea company. They used to have stores in America, but during the pandemic in 2020, they announced that they would be closing all of those stores. So I think over the summer I purchased like a good pound of the cream of Earl Grey, and I have a little bit left. I drink it every morning, probably like 4 cups. I have a teapot, 6 to 8 cup teapot, and it just brews, and I sip it all morning and reheat it 5 times, but it is my favorite tea. Something that I look forward to drinking in the morning, and it's so good. It's so good. Well, anyways, back to the yarn. So this is the skein that she dyed up for the Wuthering Heights, and if you know anything about me now, if you were paying attention in last week's episode, greens and blues are my jam. They are what I live for, what I love to knit, and what I love to wear. So I needed to grab this. It's the Book Nook Club, January 2021, colorway. Oh, is it Wuthering Heights? On this she has a U. Oh, it's Wuthering Heights. Sorry. It's her bound sock base, which is 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards per 100 grams. So, absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what I'm going to knit yet with this. Probably a pair of socks. And then I just need to find a solid color that matches for contrasting, or who knows, maybe I could do my first, you know, 1 color pair of socks without any contrast. But this was gorgeous. And then the tee to go along with it was Wuthering Heights, of course. Ingredients for the Earl Grey: organic Assam black tea, citrus peel, blue cornflower petals, Italian bergamot oil. So the biggest thing that sets Earl Grey apart is the bergamot, and then I've seen a lot of blends do the citrus. So this has, well, I don't have the loose leaf with me, but the loose leaf has little chunks of orange peels, which just gives it more of a citrusy flavor. And I have seen, and with the David's Tea Cream of Earl Grey, they throw in vanilla, and it's perfect harmony between citrus and sweet. So I definitely always try to grab the cream versions of Earl Grey, but the regular Earl Grey is beautiful too. So I'm sure this 2 ounces of tea will go very quickly. It'll be out before, I don't know, for a month, maybe a few weeks. So if you're interested in a book Nook club, definitely check out Long Dog Yarn. I haven't signed up for February. I think the colors were not my palette, probably a brown and a maroon, I think. So one and done is fine with me, just picking that color because it's pretty. I'm happy I did. But now let's just pivot to what I'm drinking, which I'll add this section in next episode to the beginning of the episode. But I will always try to spotlight a handmade mug. I think handmade pottery mugs are beautiful. The time it takes and the attention to detail, I just think, you know, paired very nicely with a good cup of tea is just, you know, a nice thing to do in the morning and to sip from. So this mug is from a maker called Julie Miller Pottery. I believe she lives in Pennsylvania, but it's this gorgeous henna-like design on this very nice cream colored mug. So I have a few handmade mugs, probably about 5 or 6, that I rotate through, you know, every day of the week. So they each get their spotlight and each get to sip from them every day. So that's tea, that's that yarn club. Next up, I have an order, which, crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. I placed an order with Chelsea Yarns from Christina. She dyes up gorgeous yarn, and I haven't been able to get my hands on a ton of it, but she posted this set for Valentine's Day. 2 minis, and then the main color. This is called Galentine's Day. It's an 85 merino, 15% nylon blend. So it's a little bit more merino, less nylon than I normally knit with. I normally knit with 75-25. This is 85-15. So you have that pink, which is the main color, and then the 2 minis. Gorgeous. I wanted to show you as soon as I could. I got this in a few days ago, but I didn't want to wind it up and give you my weird looking cakes before I was able to show you them in the hank. So as soon as I log off, I'm gonna get the switch set up, wind these up, and start my socks. I don't have a specific pattern in mind, and I may do 1 cuff purple, 1 cuff red, and then have the cuffs match the toes, and then do the alternating heel. So purple cuff, red heel, red cuff, purple heel, if that makes any sense. I might just do a vanilla sock. I'm loving how quick and easy vanilla socks are with a 2x1 cuff rib, and then, you know, I can wear them hopefully before Valentine's Day. So that is the plan. Another thing I got from Christina, one of her duets. So she calls this double skein contraption thing a duet. It is a mix between her mohair and her cobblestone. So if you've ever seen, some people call it slub, some people call it cobblestone. It is a 90% merino, 10% nylon base, and it has kind of puffs of fiber. I cannot see anything that you're seeing, so if this is not in focus, I apologize. and she skeins them together. So it's a mega skein with the mohair and then the cobblestone. And I don't have a ton of mohair, and I don't buy a lot of mohair just because of price. So you're technically paying double for a sweater with the mohair component if you hold them double, which is, I love the effect it gives. I just don't normally buy mohair for every sweater I'm gonna do. But I saw this color. Oh, the color would help. It's called Blue Lagoon. So it's not green. Are we surprised? It is blue. So a few months ago, I had actually purchased 2 of them. This is the mohair all wound up, and then this is this cobblestone. I had purchased 2 of these, so one I wound up and one I have. And then I was looking through patterns. 800, 900 yards is not enough for me, my size, my bust size, for a sweater. So 1200 is normally good. So I didn't solidify a pattern I want yet, but I'm sure something will come up. But I figured if I was going to order the sock set, I would order the other Duet. So I have both, or all 3 of them. And then this one, I was looking at the different dye strengths. Some of the old Duets have a little bit more brown in them, if you can see right here. So I'll definitely alternate skeins when I'm knitting so I don't get any pooling or any weird splotches. So, you know, half new acquisition, half old. But as I work on that, I will show you. And then when I purchased the Duets a few months ago, I had picked up this, call it a matching bag. This is a project bag by Wild Strands Handcrafted, and she has a shop on Etsy. Gorgeous waxed canvas bag with a pocket in the front, and then if you look on the inside, it has a bee fabric with what is this, three pockets, and then nothing on the other side. So it's super well constructed, very good quality, and Christina was selling these in her shop, so I figured let's show the blue some love and store this sweater in this bag. So that is that order. And as I'm looking here, Christina always sends cute little goodies. So in this bag, we have a few tea bags. First one is fusion green and white tea. Then we have pomegranate raspberry, and then cinnamon apple chamomile. I'm definitely picky with the tea that I like. I don't like any fruit teas, so I'll probably share this pomegranate raspberry one with my sister. But it's just something about hot fruit juice that I don't like. So we'll just leave that at that. Take it for what you want, but love these little goodies. And we got a lollipop, we love that. All super fun things. So I think that's all I have for you. This was very quick. You got to see the sweater I'm working on and the socks I finished, as well as what I'm wearing. I'll try to wear something different every episode. My camera shut off on me. That's rude. I think I reached the 25-minute limit and it just shuts off. So I'll piece those 2 parts together. But yeah, I was saying I think that's it. I will eventually film my entire knit wardrobe. I have a few sweaters, lots of shawls, and now I have some socks to share, and cardigans, a lot of knit collage, kind of chunkier pieces. So I'm excited to film that for you guys to share. And then at the end of the year, we can do a, what I made in 2021 and add it to my wardrobe. I want to get more into sewing clothes. I think I mentioned I was working on a quilt, and I started quilting the top of it last weekend, worked on it like 6 hours straight, which it's hard to believe it takes that long, and then you know you're only halfway done. But I have more to do, and I just haven't been able to set up the sewing machine and get it done. But it's rolled up like a burrito, and it is on my dresser. I'm looking at it now. Tons of pins, and I just need to finish the quilt top, and then I can work on the binding and then sew it up and then have my first quilt done. So I won't share that now just because I don't want all the pins to fall everywhere if I kind of unroll it. But as soon as it's done, I'll share that as a FO with you. And when I start my next quilt, I'll actually film more of it. So if you're into quilting and you want to see that, stay tuned. I am going to film a separate video once I log off here with a haul of art bats from Amanda of Melanated Boho Bay. I spoke a lot about her last week when I showed you kind of what I spun in December and January. Showed you probably like 7 to 8 bats, and this time I have 7 to 8 bats of fiber. Went a little crazy in our updates. It's okay. So I'm going to do a separate haul, part 1, and then I will share a video of me spinning the different bats as they come and just how I do that, and that'll be part 2. So I'm hoping to record 2 knitting podcast sit down videos a month, and then the alternating weeks have some other sort of video. So now you're watching episode 2. Next week you'll probably see that art bat haul, and then the following week you'll see episode 3, and then the week after that maybe it'll be my handmade wardrobe. That's hard to say. Say that 5 times fast. Handmade wardrobe. Handmade wardrobe. So all exciting things. I am feeling more comfortable in front of the camera. Nothing makes you more self-conscious about yourself than watching yourself film in a tiny little screen, or hearing yourself over when you go to edit, or when you watch it on YouTube. Just doing that a million times, and I'm getting comfortable with it. I'm on Zoom most of the day for work anyway, but normally you have someone conversing back and forth with you. That's okay. Tons of people are on YouTube talking to themselves through a camera, so I think I can do it too. I hope you enjoyed this episode and my rambling at the end. Never a dull moment, I will share. So thank you so much for joining me. I am going to hop off, get this edited and uploaded, and I can't wait to read your comments. I had a handful of people introduce themselves in the comments for episode 1. So if you are new here and you've recently subscribed, please introduce yourself. I would love to get to know you. And as you get to know me a little bit more, I hope you feel comfortable, you know, just sharing what projects you're working on, or any advice you have, or products like I asked about the skein winder. If you have any recommendations, the comment box is there for that, or feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Corinna Marie Handmade. We can plug the other outlets while we're at it. Facebook, I don't post a ton on Facebook, but it's good if you use that more to be on that platform. I'm also getting more into Pinterest. So I have different boards set up on Pinterest for knitting patterns, quilting, kind of all the themes that I will be sharing with you. Weaving, spinning, both art bats and finished yarn. I love to just pin beautiful pictures, and yesterday I started a pin for mugs and tea, so I'm repinning a bunch of handmade pottery and different mugs that I see. So if you're big on Pinterest, follow me over there. Everything will be linked down below, and I'd love to get to know you guys. So have a great day, weekend, week, whenever you are watching this, and thanks for joining me. Bye!